Hello everyone, thank you all so much for joining me today and another Cheating Lefty Disc review, this time taking a look at the Discraft tracker. Now if you haven't already, please smash that like button and hit that subscribe button. It's one small click for you, but for me and the growth of this channel, it is extremely important, so thank you all very much. So let's go ahead and jump right on in with the profile. Now being a Speed 7, it does have a semi-blunt nose, and also it means that rim is a lot narrower, so it can fit in the hands of every player and also gives you great control. The ESP and Big Z plastics do have that higher shoulder and then also goes into the flat flight plate versus the Crystal Flex. Those things are absolutely board flat, heck they're practically puddle topped. So if you're looking for a board flat version of the tracker, you have to try to find yourself Crystal Flex. Trust me, it's well worth it. So how does the tracker fly? What type of fairway driver is it? Well, the tracker is an overstable fairway driver that has great resistance to torque and also a very predictable harsh finish at the very end. So combining those key attributes makes the tracker perfect for both backhand dominant players but as well as forehand dominant players. This is a disc that you can just rip into hard, backhand or forehand. You don't have to worry about it turning over. It is going to just hold a nice straight line, even thrown on an anhyzer. It just flips up back to flat as quickly as possible, holds straight for just a little bit of the flight, then all of a sudden as it slows down, it just has that nice crashing finish. So with the tracker's great torque resistance, it makes it absolutely perfect on windy days. If you need a very trustworthy fairway driver in the wind, look no further than the tracker. This is going to serve you extremely well. But say you're in the woods and you have a nice straight tunnel shot that you need then a hyzer finish at the very end, well then the tracker is just what you need. You can rip into this thing as hard as you want and get almost no turn whatsoever, so you can trust it's going to ride straight down that tunnel, and then with that nice predictable finish, you know exactly where it's going to end up. It also doesn't have too much glide to it. It does have a decent amount of glide, but not an extreme amount, so you don't have to worry about blasting it past the basket. So how do I personally use the tracker? Well, for one, I'm using it for those overstable, just hyzer shots, something where I can just leave it out wide and just let its natural overstability bring it in towards the target. Also, because of that good torque resistance, I'm going to be using it for those forehands, almost forehand tunnel shots. Also, great utility disc. Very good for thumbers. That is a part of this disc that I think is often overlooked. It is an amazing thumbering disc, especially in that Crystal Flex plastic, again, if you can find it. It is by far the best plastic for this disc. In general, I'd have to say the Big Z is just a little bit more overstable, or at least just a little bit more torque resistant than the ESP that we've been seeing. And for the Crystal Flex, I mean, God, the thing is on a whole other level. Great torque resistance, I mean, amazingly torque resistant, no turn at all, even when thrown on an anhyzer, and then it snaps out of any kind of anhyzer line right away and just absolutely crashes, just dumps right to the ground. As you can see the difference between the ESP and the Crystal Flex on these shots, there's like no glide or distance on that Crystal Flex, so you know exactly where it's gonna go. So a huge shout out to Nathan lending me his arm for this video to really show you what a big arm, what it can do with the Crystal Flex. This is going to be the regular. You can see how smooth and elegant his throw is versus the Crystal Flex. Yeah, he put a little bit more oomph in that. In fact, so much more that his sunglasses actually fell off his head. So thank you again, Nathan, for those shots. Let's go show him some love. Go over to the Oklahizer YouTube channel. He puts out amazing content. So be sure to go subscribe and show him some support. I will have a link to his YouTube channel down in the description. So now, looking at the Lefty Lines, you're really going to see the differences in the three different plastic types that I've been throwing in this video. Again, the ESP, I think, is just the most, if you want to say, understable version of the tracker. When thrown flat on the forehand, it gets just a little bit of turn, just a gentle amount of turn, before then it snaps out of it and then hyzers out. Versus the Big Z, it kind of follows the flight a bit, but it snaps out of that gentle turn a little bit faster, Again, I feel just a tick more overstable, barely noticeable, but it is there. And then there's just a drastic leap when you get to that Crystal Flex. This is such a predictable disc. I can't say it enough. I mean, this is like the third or fourth time. If you can find the Crystal Flex, you have to get it. It's such a great disc. So for my final thoughts, the Tracker is a fantastic fairway driver. It's that nice speed 7, slow speed fairway driver, just a tick up from mid-ranges. It's going to cut through the wind better without sacrificing a whole lot of distance and still giving you that great control. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and until next time everyone, keep banging them chains.